Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. In Exile, making its world premiere at TIFF, was filmed by Myanmar director Tin Win Naing while he was living in exile among Burmese refugees in Thailand. Naing had the support of producers Yasmin Rams, who joined him in the field for 8 months, as well as Rodney Charles. In this conversation, they discussed the challenges of filming with migrant workers in a remote region. Their experiences offer lessons and inspiration for any filmmaker confronting logistical, ethical, and technical hurdles. Tin Win Naing was born in Myanmar. He trained at the Yangon Film School and has worked as a cinematographer on numerous films. In Exile is his feature debut. Yasmin Rams is a film producer and director based in California and Germany. Rodney Charles is an award-winning screenwriter, director, producer, and actor. Yasmin and Rodney founded the production company Perennial Lens, which produces international, transcultural, and socially progressive fictional and documentary feature films. We're going to start with the trailer, and then they will be joined on stage by Tom Powers.
Please welcome the filmmaking team of In Exile, producer Rodney Charles, producer Yasmin Rams, filmmaker Tin Win Naing, and Tin Win Naing's translator, Jimmy. Yasmin, let me start with you. You were in the field with Tin Win Naing for 8 months. The backdrop of this is Tin Win Naing is a filmmaker in Myanmar. He had been filming politically sensitive material at some point in 2008 that 2008, Tin Win Naing decided it was too hot in Myanmar, went to Thailand and was living among refugees. Often we've seen films about maybe Western filmmakers coming to film among refugees, but you were filming this as a refugee yourself. Yasmin, can you describe, how you got involved with the project and and what the extraordinary circumstances of this were.
Of course. Hi, everyone. So I got involved with this project because I had been working at the Yangon Film School, which is a film school in Myanmar, operated from Berlin. Long story. And that's how I knew Tin Win Naing. He was one of the first students there. And when we all got the news that he had to go into exile, we were all very concerned. And since I had some experience also in Thailand and so working there, I contacted him. We went back and forth. And he said, you know, he was in a really bad state emotionally, of course, away from his family. He didn't know what was going on. He didn't know what was going to happen, if he would be having to go to refugee camp, if not, or so. But at the same time, his filmmaking heart was still beating very, very actively. And he said, you know, I feel so badly, but there are these other people who, you know, are also in these amazing, incredible circumstances. I never knew about it, and it's really something I really, really want to make a film about, because it also says so much about our home country. So I said, okay, let's make a film. And that's how it all started, really.
So Tin Win Naing, there are so many questions to explore about this film, from the logistics of making it, but I wanted to start with some of the sensitivity with filming your fellow refugees. I mean, these are people who are working almost in slave-like conditions on plantations. We really see some of that hardship in this film. What was your relationship to them in documenting them? I mean, did they feel any concern about speaking out when they have plantation bosses that seem not very friendly, to say the least?
So, hi everyone. So, can I speak Burmese? ကျွန်တော်ကထိုင်းနိုင်ငံကိုရောက်သွားတဲ့အချိန်မှာဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲတရားမဝင်တဲ့တရားမဝင်လူသမားတယောက်အနေနဲ့ရောက်သွားတာပေါ့နော်
When I arrived in Thailand, I was an illegal worker. As an illegal worker, it's not legally arrived there.
ဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်အဲ့ရောက်သွားတဲ့အချိန်မှာကျွန်တော်ဘဝကိုဘယ်လိုဆက်ပြီးတော့ရှင်သန်ရမလဲဆိုတော့တော်တော်ပြီးကိုစဉ်းစားရတယ်ဒီ filmmaker အလုပ်နဲ့ပဲဆက်သွားမလားဒါမှမဟုတ်ဒီတခြားရအလုပ်ပဲလုပ်မလားဆိုတဲ့ဒီတွေးဟာတွေဖြစ်တယ်
Basically, I'm struggling between how to survive in the camp, either to struggle with daily surviving, or how do I continue with the filmmaking? I'm a little bit lost at that moment.
ဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်ရှင်သန်ရက်ဒီကိုအတွက်ကျွန်တော်တာမန်ဒီစေးတုပ်တဲ့အလုပ်တို့ပါလို့ကျွန်တော်လုပ်ဖို့ကြိုးစားတယ်
So basically, I have to take whatever is available as a painter job from the local contracting agency.
အဲ့လိုလုပ်ရင်းနဲ့ဒီကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီရွှေပြောင်းလူသမားမြန်မာလူမျိုးတွေနဲ့ကျွန်တော်တွေ့ဆုံရတယ်ခင်မင်ရတယ်သူတို့ရဲ့မိသားစုအကြောင်းတွေကျွန်တော်သိရတယ်
While I was working there as a painter, I get a chance to meet with the local Burmese refugees who are working in the plantation industry there.
သူတို့ရဲ့ဇလန်းတွေကလည်းကျွန်တော်တို့ဇလန်းတွေနဲ့အတူတူပဲဘဝမှာဒီထိုင်းနိုင်ငံမှာဖြတ်သန်းနေရတာနေ့စဉ်တူကတော်တော်ဒုက္ခတွေကြုံပြီးတော့ဖြတ်သန်းနေရတာတွေ့ရတယ်
So I felt that their daily lives and their struggling is not much different than what I've been through with struggling my life in the camp.
သူတို့နဲ့ပြောဖြစ်တယ်သူတို့ရဲ့အကြောင်းတွေလည်းသိရတယ်ကိုယ့်ရဲ့အကြောင်းတွေလည်းသူတို့ပြောဖြစ်တယ်တယောက်နဲ့တယောက်ကမြန်မာလူမျိုးချင်းလည်းဖြစ်တယ်သူများနိုင်ငံမှာလည်းဒုက္ခတွေအနေနဲ့နေရတယ်ဆိုတော့
So I get the chance to share my life story with them, also a chance to understand their life story. Basically, we're all the same from Burma, struggling our life in the camp.
သူတို့နဲ့လူညီကိုမောင်နှမတွေလိုဖြစ်သွားတယ်မိသားစုတွေလိုဖြစ်သွားတယ်ပြီးတော့ကျွန်တော်ကလည်းသူတို့အကြောင်းဒီသူတို့ဘယ်လိုဖြတ်သန်းရတယ်ဆိုတော့ဒီမှတ်တမ်းရုပ်ရှင်ရိုက်ချင်တဲ့စိတ်အားပြင်းထန်လာ
So after a while, we become like a family, almost like even though we are strangers, we are like brothers and sisters, like a family. and that drive me to be more the involvement in telling the whole world about this story as a film.
တခါလေကြားလို့ရှိရင်သူတို့စီကကြားရတဲ့ story ကဒီထက်ပိုဆိုးတာတွေရှိတယ်ဟိုအရင်ဖိနှိပ်တာတွေရှိတယ်တော်တော်ဟိုတခါကြားလို့ရှိရင်ဒီ rape လုပ်ခံရတာတွေရှိတယ်အသက်ခံရတာတွေရှိတယ်ဆိုတော့အဲ့ဒါတွေကျွန်တော်ကပြန်ကြားရတဲ့အချိန်မှာကျွန်တော်ကျွန်တော်တို့ရဲ့ဒီဒုက္ခခံစားနေရတဲ့ဟာတွေကိုတစ်ခုခုကိုကျွန်တော်တင်ပြခြင်းတယ်ဘယ်လိုနည်းနဲ့လုပ်ရမလဲဆိုတော့အမြဲတမ်းကြံစည်နေတာပေါ့နော်
So while I was trying to understand their life story, there's a lot of horrible stories about their life. Sometimes there's some killing involved, and that's why I like to show the world on all these different struggles that they have been through.
So Yasmin နဲ့တွေ့ခွင့်ရပြီးတော့ကျွန်တော်ဒီရုပ်ရှင်ကိုရိုက်ခွင့်ရခဲ့တယ်
So when I met Yasmin, the whole involvement started about making this movie.
Rodney, you and Yasmin have this company, Perennial Lens. Is that what's going on? Taking on a film like this, it's not a commercial wildfire. What is your, interest and commitment to telling these kinds of stories? I mean, I'm making a joke about it, but there's a lot of sacrifice behind devoting your energy to telling these stories.
Absolutely, Tom. It was absolutely imperative that I felt that our production company become involved and support this film 100%, primarily because there were a number of reasons. When Yasmin came back from Thailand, it was amazing. We were actually in Berlin, and this is really important to convey because we look at the film and we forget about the human costs on a number of different levels. And we were talking about the footage. Now remember, we're a production company. We're talking purely about the film at this point. And Yasmin was so scared to talk in Berlin about the film as a result of the consequences of being under this sort of constantly being followed, being around people being literally murdered, having to dodge bullets and explosions. Tin Win Naing, I have to say, absolutely fearless in the field. There were times when basically his life is in danger, things that I wouldn't even begin to process how one would go about this. And so with all of this, the sort of, what I saw was that there was this tremendous sort of shock and aftermath of their situation. And I thought, well, as an outsider, I have to get involved to be able to help support this, give some perspective to it. And also, I felt that historically, there'd been so few films made by Myanmar filmmakers that unique perspective needed to be supported, needed to be told, and the way in which Tin Win Naing represents his people and was able to actually find the dignity and also the sense of culture and all these subtleties under the most oppressive of conditions, I felt it was absolutely imperative that we get involved and support it, irrespective of the financial consequences.
Tin Win Naing, when we hear the name Myanmar, we immediately think of a place where it's very difficult to be a video journalist. Can you describe what it's like today practicing video journalism there?
Uza, အဲ့ဒီဟာကြတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီရှေ့ဆိုးရလက်ထက်မှာကျွန်တော်တို့ဟို video journalist အနေနဲ့ဒီကင်မရာတွေရိုက်ခွင့်ရဖို့အတွက်ရှေ့ဆိုးရကဒီကင်မရာတွေဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တအားကြောက်တယ်။ဘာလို့လဲဆိုတော့ဒီပြင်ပနိုင်ငံကလူတွေအကုန်လုံးကကျွန်တော်နိုင်ငံအကြောင်းကိုသိသွားမှတအားကြောက်တဲ့အတွက်ဒီကင်မရာသမားတွေ journalist တွေအကုန်လုံးကိုသူတို့ကန့်သက်ထားတယ်ချုပ်ချယ်ထားတယ်
So before in the past, while in the military government, they are very scared of the filmmaker dealing with camera because they worry about the internal news will spread to the outside world.
ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီကင်မရာရိုက်တယ်တခုခုကင်မရာရိုက်လို့မိသွားလို့ရှိရင်သူတို့အနည်းဆုံးထောင်ဒဏ်10နှစ်ကျော်မှချတယ်
If we ever get caught while making film locally, we get at least 10 years in prison.
အဲ့တုန်းကကျွန်တော်တို့ကဒီတွားလျာရိုက်တယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အများနဲ့ထောက်လန်းရေးတွေကကြည်နေတယ်ရိုက်ဖို့တော့အားကြောက်ရတယ်ဘယ်တော့မှဟိုလွတ်လွတ်လပ်လပ်ရိုက်ခွင့်မရခဲ့
So that in Myanmar, there's no freedom of making film because you never know there are secret service at everywhere, and you don't know where they might be coming and catch you.
နောက်ပြီးတော့ဒီမှတ်တမ်းရုပ်ရှင်ဒီ documentary ရိုက်တယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်လေ documentary ဆိုတာကျွန်တော်တို့နိုင်ငံမှာဘာမှသိနားမလဲဘူးအရန်ကိုရှင်းပြရတယ်တနေရာရောက်လို့ရှိရင်
So in Myanmar, there's no such thing as documentary. So it's very hard to explain how to make documentary in Myanmar.
ဆိုတော့ဟိုအဲ့ဗီဒီယိုရိုက်ခံရမယ်ဒီဟို protagonist ဟိုလူတွေအကုန်လုံးကလည်းဒီဗီဒီယိုထဲမှာပါသွားလို့ရှိရင်သူတို့ဒီအပြစ်ကြမှာတအားကြောက်တယ်ရိုက်ခံရမှာတအားကြောက်
So when you film the documentary on other people, and those people are very worried that they may get exposed to the military government, so they are a little bit nervous when their picture have been taken.
အခုဒီအစိုးရပြောင်းသွားဒီ2015မှာ NLD အစိုးရကနိုင်သွားတဲ့အတွက်ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီရိုက်ကူးရေးလုပ်တဲ့ဒီမှတ်တမ်းရုပ်ရှင်သမားတွေဒီ journalist တွေအကုန်လုံးကဟိုလွတ်လွတ်လပ်လပ်တော့လုပ်ခွင့်ရလာပြီ
So when 2015, during the NLD winning the country, all the journalists are a little bit freedom in doing the filming and documentary in Myanmar now.
မြန်မာလူမျိုးတွေကလည်းအခုချိန်မှာဒီကျွန်တော်နိုင်ငံမှာလည်းဒီရုပ်ရှင်ပွဲတော်တွေတစ်ခုနှစ်ခုလောက်လုပ်လာပြီဆိုတော့ဒီမှတ်တမ်းရုပ်ရှင်နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့သူတို့ကဟိုအကျွမ်းတဝင်တော့ရှိလာကြ
So because of this freedom of making film in Myanmar, there is understanding of how to make documentary, and there are some film festival happening in local in Myanmar now.
Tin Win Naing, do you think that this film will be able to be seen in Myanmar?
အခုချိန်ကတော့ပြလို့ရပါပြီ
So yes, this film can be shown in Myanmar now.
But at the beginning, we even started making this film actually under pseudonyms. So that's kind of it shows how different the government, as Tin Win Naing just said, is right now. Because at the beginning we were so afraid to make this film and to put it out there, and we couldn't put our names under it no matter what. And now we can sit on this panel, which will be available online even, and talk freely about the film. So things have changed tremendously.
Even though I'd like to point out that the circumstances economically haven't shifted sufficiently to have eliminated the situation that we're looking at on screen, which is the plight of the migrant workers, because the people are still, if I'm correct, still having to flee Myanmar across the border to seek a better life, and the exploitation continues. So our film is as relevant and as current as it needs to be to save the individuals or stop this sort of situation from continuing.
Yasmin, you were filming under such difficult circumstances. I mean, I have to imagine that, maybe I'm wrong, but I would think that even power supply was probably intermittent in the backdrops that we're seeing there. For other people who are, venturing out into tough conditions to film, are there any, lessons that you took away about how to manage the logistics of that?
Well, our DP, Guang Koko, and Tin Win Naing was also DPing, both of them were really inventive. They made their own lights, because obviously, we didn't have a budget for lights. So they made their own lights with just buying, how do you call it, electric string cable? and bulbs and so on. And then we actually, at some points, we did have a generator. So in those ways, we had to be inventive, but we just went with it. And after a while, we just stripped ourselves of all of that and partly lived with our protagonists a bit. And it was okay. We just rolled with the punches, so to say.
Tin Win Naing, the film is largely narrated by you and your experience. Can you tell us about how you came up with that script? What was that process?
ဒီရုပ်ရှင်ကကြတော့ဟိုကျွန်တော်ရဲ့ဘဝဇာတ်ကြောင်တစ်စိတ်တည်းသားပါတယ်နောက်ပြီးတော့ဒီထိုင်းနိုင်ငံမှာရောက်နေတဲ့ရွှေပြောင်းလူသမားတွေရဲ့ဘဝအကြောင်းတွေပါတယ်ပေါ့နော်
This movie is partially my life story and also the life story of the people in the camp.
ဆိုတော့ဟိုအဓိကကတော့ဒီမှာတင်ပြထားတာအကုန်လုံးကတကယ်ဖြစ်ခဲ့တာတွေတကယ်ကြုံတွေ့ခဲ့ရတဲ့အကြောင်းအရာတွေအကုန်လုံးကိုရိုက်ကူးတင်ပြထားတာဖြစ်တယ်
So whatever happening in the film is all real life story of all the people in there as well as myself here.
ဒီမှာဟို narration ပြောထားတာကလည်းဒီလိုစာရေးပြီးပြောထားတာမဟုတ်ဘူးကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ interview လုပ်ထားပြီးတော့ဟိုပြောထားတဲ့စကားတွေကိုဒီမှာပြန်ပြီးသုံးထားတာ
So the narration is not my script. It's basically some of the narration are from the interview process of part of the interview process speech.
အဓိကဒီထဲမှာပြောထားတဲ့စကားတွေအကုန်လုံးကဒီကျွန်တော်ဒီစကွနဲ့ချရေးပြီးပြောတာကျွန်တော်ဒီဘဝအတွေ့အကြုံတွေအကုန်လုံးဟို interview လုပ်ပြီးတော့ရေးထားပြီးပြောထားတယ်
Oh, I'm sorry. He said he wants to correct my interpretation. It's the script is all from the interview of his life story in the camp.
Maybe it's too early to ask since this film has just been finished, but Tin Win Naing, do you have other ideas for more documentaries that you'd like to be making?
Yes, I do have ကျွန်တော်တို့နိုင်ငံမှာဟိုအခုမှအစိုးရကလည်းပြောင်းလဲသွားတယ်ဒီလူမျိုးတွေကလည်းဟိုဒီမိုကရေစီရပြီဆိုပေမဲ့ဟိုဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲဒီစစ်အစိုးရလက်ထက်ကဒီအမှုချင်းတွေကရှိသေးတယ်ဆိုတော့အဲ့ဒီဟာအကြောင်းအရာတွေကကျွန်တော်တို့တင်ပြနေတာတွေအများကြီးရှိသေးတယ်ဒီထက်
So now that we have a new government and more democracy in the country, there are still a lot of people who are still very fear of the past, and that's what he wants. He said that's an opportunity to present those kind of story.
နောက်ပြီးတော့ဒီကျွန်တော်တို့နိုင်ငံမှာဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ဟိုအဓိက culture တွေအများကြီးပဲရှိတယ်ဟိုယဉ်ကျေးမှုတွေအများကြီးရှိတယ်ဟိုတိုင်းသားလူမျိုးတွေအများကြီးရှိတယ်ကျွန်တော်တို့စီမှာဟိုရိုက်ကူးတင်ပြဖို့ဟိုအရန်ကောင်းတဲ့ story တွေအများကြီးရှိတယ်
We have a lot of culture within the country because we have a lot of ethnic group in the country. So there's a lot of potential to present those life story of different culture.
နောက်ပြီးတော့ဟိုကျွန်တော်တို့အခုအစိုးရတစ်တက်လာပြီမဲ့ဒီကျွန်တော်တို့စီမှာပြည်တွင်းစစ်ကထောက်လျှောက်ဖြစ်နေတာဒီတိုင်းရင်းသားအဖွဲ့အစည်းတွေနဲ့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီအစိုးရနဲ့တိုက်ပွဲထောက်လျှောက်ဖြစ်နေတာအဲ့ဒီအတွက်ဒီငြိမ်းချမ်းရေးလုပ်ငန်းစဉ်တွေလုပ်နေတာကလည်းအခုတည်းကအဆင်မပြေသေးဘူးဆိုတော့ဒီတိုင်းရင်းသားဒေသတွေမှာဒီစစ်ဘေးရှောင်ဒုက္ခသည်တွေဒီဟိုလူမျိုးရေးပဏိပခတွေအဲ့ဒါတွေအကုန်လုံးဟိုရိုက်ကူးတင်ပြဖို့ကအများကြီးရှိတယ်
So with all the ethnic groups in the country, there's a lot of civil war between the ethnic groups and the local government, and because of the war, because of the civil war, there's a lot of the people who running away from the war, and there's potential to show the life of those people.
အခုလောလောဆယ်ကျွန်တော်ဟိုဒီလေးလာနေတဲ့ရုပ်ရှင်ကတော့တစ်ခုလောက်ရှိတယ်အဲ့ဒီ civil war ကိုကျွန်တော်စူးစမ်းပြီးတော့
So right now I'm having in mind about to show one of the civil war happening in Myanmar.
So Yasmin, as I wrap this up, first of all, I want to remind people when the next screening of In Exile is. Do you have that date?
That's tomorrow at 8:45 p.m. at the TIFF Bell Lightbox.
And you know, I've talked in the last 20 minutes a lot about the human rights aspect of this film, but what I would really like to emphasize is the incredible artistry of this film, which I hope you get to experience. So as my last question, Yasmin, as someone who's worked in Myanmar and worked with students, Can you put in perspective for us, is Tin Win Naing exceptional? Are there more filmmakers that we may see, following in his trajectory?
Tin Win Naing, yes, that's one of the reasons why I didn't really hesitate much to actually produce this film, because Tin Win Naing, yes, he is exceptional. As I said, he's one of the first to be accepted into Yangon Film School, and his camera work is just amazing. As mentioned, even under incredible circumstances, he still, produces beautiful things where you can just feel. It gives you a feeling. He doesn't just frame. He goes with the emotion of whatever is happening, and even though things such as, we were filming without a permit, of course, because Tin Win Naing, we couldn't get a permit, of course, because he was illegal. How do you get a permit for an illegal director? And we only filmed with the permission of the village chiefs that were in the area. And there was one night actually where we filmed in the fields of one of the landlords that was a really, really awful landlord. And we didn't know that. Our protagonist was working there. And we found out later that he had stabbed a Burmese worker into the back the night before we arrived. We didn't know that. So, of course, he gave us huge trouble, and he went to the Thai village chief and tried to make us not be able to film anymore, because he was afraid that things would come out. There were lots of other things that this landlord did. And besides being such an amazing artist and being able to work under such circumstances where we are threatened, Tin Win Naing was still able to, he kept on going. And whilst I said to him, hey, let's just go somewhere else. Let's just find different protagonists. I don't want you to get into trouble again. Tin Win Naing he continued, and he said, no, I must film this story. I have to continue. And there were so many other situations that were similar. We always had to go through military checkpoints. And every time we went through those military checkpoints, he could have been seized, basically. But that never stopped him. And that's one of the points where I'm thinking, this is a real filmmaker at heart. Yes, he's an incredible artist and really very, very talented, but also incredibly motivated, So yes, it was wonderful. I'm very, very proud to be, producing this film.
Well, we're very proud to show the world premiere of In Exile. I hope you get to see it tomorrow night at 8:45. We're going to take a 15-minute break, and then we'll be back here with a conversation about virtual reality and documentary. Thanks very much to Tin Win Naing, Yasmin Rams, and Rodney Charles.